Thanks for joining us, madam. And just to get some context into the conversation we're having, there's a number of numbers that you released today in terms of your proposals. And let's look at some of them in regards to the proposals. And the highest in terms of the allocations is Nairobi with 17.44 billion shillings, Nakuru at 11.79, Turkana 11.69, Kakamega at 11.3 billion, and Kiambu at 10.05 billion. On the other side of the scale is the lowest. And just to point out that the lowest does not mean that it has a very low per capita allocation, and Lamu is at 2.46 billion, Isiolo at 3.78 billion, Tharaka-Nithi 3.76 billion, Elgeyo-Marakwet at 4.13 billion, and Taita Taveta is the fifth from the bottom at 4.25 billion shillings. And just coming from these numbers, there are some counties that have been accused at times of trying to stay marginalized just so that they can benefit from these allocations. How do you ensure that the system is tamper-proof in regards to the sanctity of this system is not abused?
What we're trying to do in this proposal is align expenditure needs to the allocation to counties. What do I mean? In the previous formula, you notice that a lot of money was put on population. That population was used as a basis for expenditure need. But what we're trying to do in this loud, we're asking what are the functions that counties are or services that counties are supposed to deliver. If it is health, what is the best measure for the need for health? And in our case, this time we're saying it is every Kenyan without a private health insurance cover. It is every inpatient visit in a public facility, and it is every visit, the inpatient days equivalent. For agriculture, we're saying counties are supposed to deliver agriculture and livestock extension services. Then we ask, how do we measure that? Is by the number of rural households. For water, counties are expected to deliver water. So who needs water? Is the households without access to water. So the way we try to make the formula tamper-proof is very closely align expenditure allocation to the expenditure need.
Okay, and not too long ago, we had some politicians who are, complaining about the allocations they get, especially from the Mount Kenya region. Yeah. And when I look at this new formula, well, it's to some extent works to their preferences, because we are seeing I see 36 counties. Look at the 2017-18 and the 2018-19 figures based on your proposals. 36 counties have gotten an increment in regards to what they should get, and the Mount Kenya counties are all there. Now you have sort of lit a fire in a way in regards to some may not feel content with that. How do you intend to attend to this? Because politicians can be quite brash in regards to when they're fighting for what they feel are their rights.
I would say there's no formula for Mount Kenya or formula for any region. What the formula does is it treats counties with expenditure needs the same way. If you look at the numbers that are on the screen, you will see that Kiambu and Kakamega are the same level. And it is because these two counties are in the same range with regard to their population. Because we're measuring expenditure need as the basis for allocation. Kakamega, Kiambu, more or less similar. But you will see that Kakamega gets a little higher allocation because Kakamega has more poor people than Kiambu. So it's not a formula for Mount Kenya. It's a formula that clusters counties by their expenditure need. At the bottom, you saw Tharaka-Nithi and Isiolo. And again, these are counties which more or less have the same expenditure needs in terms of their population numbers. So it treats the same level of need and allocates expenditure accordingly. On the other hand, you will see counties that are very large tracts of land. Marsabit, Mandela, Turkana. These are the counties that are getting additional money from the land area parameter, which is at 8%. And the rationale here is that the counties that have very large areas would incur additional expenses to deliver services. Clearly, what the governor of Kiambu requires to deliver health services is much less than what the governor of Mandera would require to deliver services in Mandela. Maybe the population are 20 kilometers apart, or in Kiambu, they're just a few meters apart. So it treats counties with the same expenditure need the same way.
Okay, and so because ultimately this is meant to be fighting for the rights and the knowledge and the empowerment of the Mwananchi. Yeah. How then? Someone may be wondering, so what? Now that we've got this proposal, how can I then use this? If it passes to the end and becomes law and all, to ensure that I can keep my governor in check, because this one is talking about the sharing of the 314 billion, which you intend to propose for higher allocation.
Yes. So what we're trying to do in this formula, although it's not a budgeting framework per se, the objective of the CRA is to provide indicative allocations for the functions that are devolved, or the functions that are the responsibility of county governments. When we say that health gets a weight of 15%, what we are saying is that for every uninsured Kenyan, there's an allocation of, say, 970 shillings. For every inpatient visit, there's an allocation of 540 shilling and 115 shillings for every outpatient visit. So this provides a framework within which citizens can hold governors or the county administration accountable for results, because they can then go and say, the indicative allocation framework suggests that health should get this allocation. But perhaps the governor then puts, or the county administration puts it in a completely different area, which probably may not even be a devolved function. For example, bursaries, we see that as a very, very popular area in education. It's a national government function. And then you see some counties will allocate very little to health. So we're hoping that citizens will use this new framework to hold the county administration accountable for results. Okay,
and just my last question in closing, and we're in a season when we're seeing a lot of cases coming up of how public funds have been or redirected into places or to the pockets they should not be going into. As much as you don't have the oversight authority in regards to, you can chase down and, prosecute anyone, what then can CRA do, or has CRA done in regard when you put these proposals together to ensure that you have a watertight system and structure to ensure that we don't lose this money? Just very briefly.
Thank you. The oversight mandate, like you said, is for the county assemblies and for Senate. But what we are doing in this formula is creating an incentive for that encourages county administration to adhere to fiscal responsibility principles and efficient use of resources. What we have done is we'll be creating an index of that takes into account the audit findings. The county institutions say the internal audit function up and running, a county budget and economic forum up and running. We'll create an index around those key variables and allocate money based on the score for every county using that index. So that provides an incentive for counties to have clean audits, to put in place the audit function, and also the county budget and economic forums. So that's the least we could do from where we sit, given that our mandate is to make recommendations on public financial management, not necessarily oversight.